Hey guys, welcome to another brand new video over here. Now this one's an intriguing one for me to go and cover. Now you guys are gonna probably want to hear me out throughout this one, and I'm trying not to be too much of a hater, because I think one big thing I like to always preach or talk about on this channel is that as long as people kind of take accountability, or as well they have a chance to grow, we should always try to maybe accept that and kind of give people the benefit of the doubt. But right now we're gonna go and talk about some more kind of bigger drama when it comes to Bao. Now Bao herself has been kind of outside the whole VTubing sphere, at least for a little while. And I think this is kind of why I'm gonna start this video in a somewhat more like, let's kind of see what happens, see where the vibe kind of goes. Vibe first and foremost, because I just feel like people deserve that, you know, at the end of the day. Like, I don't want to be a hater channel or be like this evil person, but I do want to report on some news and gossips. And as well, this is kind of a somewhat personal thing for me, which is almost like a follow-up of the big crazy Bao situation that happened only at this point, I think like 2 months ago, which to me feels like a whole lifetime ago. There has been so many videos since then, and that whatever this channel turned into since then as well, I really much appreciate. Thank you everyone for giving me a shot, subscribers here, and well, just even having to go and listen to what I have to go and say. But right now, there's been a weird, lingering, and awkward vibe when it comes to the whole VTubing sphere. Now, as you guys know, only about like a week ago or so, I made a video discussing how Shy Lily has been getting a lot more outside critique and comments, and people somewhat hating on her, or at least holding her accountable is maybe a better word for it, when it came to the whole Sinder situation. Now, it's weird that I'm still bringing this on up because it's been so many months since then, but right now, a very large amount of the community still have this kind of open wound, for a lack of a better term. The fact that there is just not a lot of closure, and some people had their final statements, such as Cinder, and because the fact that a lot of these big content creators, such as Shy Lily and Bao and Nanolist, all involved in this kind of crazy situation, never kind of addressed it properly, a lot of fans, or a lot of people who might have been on the middle, or as well just people that are very, very invested into drama, have been kind of holding these women accountable. Shy Lily and Bao and all of them, mainly for just some people think, especially with Cinder now coming back somewhat regularly, and also overall doing pretty well. Like, we've been seeing her being like the #1 bit receiver on all of Twitch, like actually having crazy reception. A lot of people in her community like forgiving her and accepting her content again, as kind of put a lot of people, a lot more stress on these other bigger content creators. They called out one of their friends and they just never had a proper response with it all. And right now, a lot of VTubers are now getting even more upset with Bao. And Bao has been kind of taking a somewhat of a leave. And this is also something I want to give some credit towards. Like, for anyone who's subscribed here or has even been this channel, thank you. As I mentioned, we don't want to be someone who is like, you're horrible, you're evil, everyone go and follow Bao right now, you're horrible. Like, that's not usually the vibe I want to put on this channel. But I do want to go give my perspectives and kind of give some thoughts here, because if you guys remember, I did have a somewhat large like call out for all this, because people like Bao were just doing a lot of bad things. A lot of people are calling out Bao still for basically not liking men, for using men, and a lot of people pushing back against the idea that VTubers are quite literally just there to farm parasocial people. They don't care about men's mental health unless it makes them money, and basically doing anything they can to go and, well, enrich themselves. They don't care about the viewer, they don't care about the content creator, like that, you know, other men, etc., so they can benefit off of them, and it's overall just, at least in the perception of a lot of people in the VTubing community, they're just not happy. Like, there's enough like backlash and bad comments that have happened within all that it's starting to add up, and it's starting to once again get bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where I even made this video. Now, like I mentioned, I don't want to be like a hater out here and discuss this all, because as you guys can clearly see, there is a little bit of a history between us all. And if you guys want my true honest feelings now that I've had a chance to have a lot of this situation get done, I was not mad, but I was very disappointed. And the one big thing out here, if you guys ever saw this whole entire saga, not about myself. Like, I feel like for me, at the end of the day, most of my situation got resolved. I had a chance to go meet a lot of cool people. I've had a chance to keep on doing content on this channel, and I was making videos before this too as well. Just so you guys all know, this wasn't like my claim to fame out there, but I did have some awesome subscribers from the whole situation, so thank you very much for listening to what I had to say. But it was really, really heartbreaking to have to discuss on how much it felt like being a man in a community I would like to join into, or as well, all the other like awesome VTubing males out there who also kind of resonated with what we had to say, showing that it just felt like we didn't really matter, that we were only there to be pay pigs or be a viewer count for other folks, and that really did not sit right with me since then. And it's really also hurt me too as well, because don't forget the big focal point throughout that entire situation, when Bao at this time, like if you need to check out any of these videos, feel free to, Throughout that entire situation, there was a young minor who was being groomed by a VTuber content creator woman who was quite a bit older than he was throughout this entire situation, where Bao was making comments saying that everyone judging her is just like a troll and men don't matter, you're giving me impressions, I'm making more money, life's good. And a lot of people, especially now, we're gonna get to that in a second, just don't appreciate that. Did not appreciate the idea and concept that, yeah, in the mix of a somewhat very valid criticism due to the fact that there was other big content creators such as Disguised Toast out there having all these like horrible things. Like I made a video over here with Nina Lynn, who got like banned because she basically went and assaulted a Disguised Toast that same week. And as well, the same thing too, as I mentioned, the child predator was also caught and exposed to as well, Mizu Ray. So throughout this entire week, this was happening as well with the whole Miskiff situation too, which is why and where her initial comment sparked from. That was valid. I thought that was right. If you're a woman content creator, always take care of yourself and protect yourself. It's a very big deal. But in the mix of this all, a lot of people were holding Bao accountable when they saw the full picture. That there were women content creators grooming men. That there were other outside content creators such as Nina Lynn, who ever since then have been banned even more by Twitch, has encouraged and engaged in even more harassment towards men sexually as well, and has just been an overall nuisance, stealing on streams, dropping slurs, just a very, very bad person. And this was all ongoing throughout that same week. So many people were like, hey, let's not, like, hey, we're giving you proof of what's happening in front of your eyes. And she had a very big ego with it. That's just my honest opinion, and it was very hurtful because throughout that entire experience, I don't want to be known as the guy who's like, woe is me, because, you know, at the end of the day, I was able to go and face some really big fears and, you know, things I was really worried about. And since then, I've had a chance to heal even more, and I feel like I've become a little bit more confident of what I have to say, which is how I'm able to make this video here in the first place. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for not leaving a hate comment yet. Although I probably will get some, because throughout this entire experience, even when I was discussing this, I had people from Bao's community, not to like be a victim over here, say some of the most heinous and disgusting things I've ever seen in my entire life. People wishing me dead. People saying they are going to make me dead. People saying that Bao is like this perfect angel, when I think if you guys ever saw almost all my comments interacting with her, a lot of my things were like, hey, you know, like my last comment in chat was like, hey, people think you're cool. Like I met you in person in passing, like you're very nice. Like people are just gonna, you know, be worded. You know, people are using your wordings and bad words for Twitty to like, you know, beef to attack real victims, like 17-year-old kids. They were trying to tell their stories. Everything out here, you know, a lot of these big things out here trying to be nice. But sadly, ever since then, there was just horrible comments that I had to deal with from that situation. Granted, all of it kind of died out and tapered out really quick and the support was insane, but a lot of people were seeing stuff like this. And ever since then, we've actually been seeing a lot more of a negative reception when it comes to Bao. Let's kind of get more of the nitty gritty of the drama in this video. Since then, and since the entire, there's a lot more. Like I'm not saying I'm the major focal point, but quite a few people did remember that and have even used and mentioned my own name, which is why I'm making this video out here. So once again, we're not trying to cancel Bao. Like I think she did everything that we think should be right. Going out there, taking a break, roast some money for charity, and ideally you kind of get your head on straight and just not hate men. Like don't take advantage of your community and be blessed in the position you have to be a good, proper content creator. But as I mentioned, a lot of these lingering things, such as the issues with Shy Lily and Nanolis and Cinder, that like little petty fight that a lot of people are just disappointed in, because that's just not how a proper corporate person who owns businesses and is meant to be like this, you know, idol that people are looking up to. A lot of people are disappointed on that. We've seen this mimicked on the social media side. If you guys look at channels such as I'm showing you guys, this one's Bao's, people are very against her content. Now, it may go up as of now when she comes back from her break or makes more active content, but as of right now, you guys can see she is just bleeding followers. People are just not impressed. And once people kind of see their true colors, that's when things get a little bit more on the hefty side. I do want to say in full entirely the fact that she, throughout that entire big quote-unquote drama of her saying that men are just trash, horrible, there's pay pigs, whatever, paraphrasing of course, well, when there's a 17-year-old involved in that situation and you never properly apologized or addressed that or even gave well wishes and hopefulness for other people in the community, especially in the VTubing side, people do not appreciate that. And I myself, as I mentioned after I've had a few months for this one, not as like a call out or saying you're gross, it hurts. Like for me, this is almost my own therapy to kind of have a chance to say this and kind of wrap it on up. It was very disappointing to have to go and see someone that a lot of people, and even my own personal friends, gave her nice words, vouched that she was an angel and a good person, and in the mix of it all, just attributed very narcissistic, horrible traits, basically saying that she was never the problem, other issues instead of just giving a proper apology and trying to move on. Now, I don't want to keep on re-digging up bad holes, and in theory, after this, I can probably move on, because who cares? I'm not trying to re-dig up beef, it's totally fine. But it makes me really sad because there was never I guess, we'll have to see. Over time, we'll have to see. You don't want to go and cast judgment before then. But as I mentioned with the whole Shy Lily situation, resurging it up when she brought up the whole Sinder Drama, and many people were critiquing her and saying that she was in the wrong. What does she have to heal for? What's going on with this all? You got your company, you got your friend canceled, she couldn't work for many months, and now at this point she's doing her own thing. As I mentioned though, this kind of spiraled into, well, other people also making comments. Because there's a few tweets out here saying, on this, the female content creation space is crazy. It is the place where a woman can trash their main audience, which directly finances her, and they're just loving it. Do you guys like sitting in the chair in the corner? Monkeys again confused. Now, Banana Juju's had their own kind of hot takes or their own opinions out there, but it did go and spark more people chiming on in. And I saw even more people bringing this on up, and people even questioning, why are people not talking about this? Why is this not a drama talking point, etc. That's kind of why I'm making this video, because I felt like, for me personally, I was very hurt. I am not angry, I am not upset, I don't want Bao to be canceled or lose followers. I don't care, just if she does better and she heals good and she's taking the mental break she needs and she comes back actually appreciative and a good person, dude, that's a win. I would consider that an absolute win and I'd be very proud of her. But when it came to the whole situation, I got a lot of hate for basically just trying to be hey, men sometimes got abused and there's bad situations that happen, trying to bring light to, a minor that was being groomed. I would hope most people would be yeah, you would, that's not good. I sometimes feel like I'm talking to crazy people when people will be no, Bao was perfect. And then you're just trying to be hey, she can be perfect in your mind, sure, but, minors should not be being groomed online, especially in the VTubing sphere. People should call that out. It's very disgusting. And the fact that people were apprehensive on that made me very question the idea of joining the VTubing community as a whole. Now, granted, I've met and seen some amazing, awesome people out here, and I'd still like to. It's fine with me. I can hold my own opinion and don't have to worry about it because I have a pretty happy life. I've always had a pretty happy life. So making a YouTube video discussing, critiquing someone doesn't change much. But my opinion is a little bit more lackadaisical. I can be a little bit more chill. I can be a little bit more, it is what it is, bygones be bygones. But many people were hurt by what Bao did and other people were, whether they were fans of Cinder or as well were just actual men feeling like they did not matter. Other men content creators and VTubers who have had to deal with horrible situations involving abusive women, and they weren't feeling like they were being heard. Once again, is being parroted, and it seems like this is an ongoing issue that a lot of women, especially bigger content creator women, are just doing this as a performative measure just to try to get more extra clicks or views or attention on their content. And people are just trying to get sick of it. You're starting to see Bao losing social media followers. Even when she did her very last stream, she was even losing followers live. As I showed you guys over here in this, people are actually unfollowing. And as mentioned too, saying, I hate VTubers who are so pro men's mental health when it's convenient for them. But the second it's no longer convenient for what they want in a man, they turn on men and men's mental health and don't care to understand how and why they feel the way they do about ongoing problems. And then we become the problem again. We're stupid, we're lazy, we need to do better, we need to be like that other guy. Because the standards become too high and they pretend to not long ago they are pro men and no, not too high standards, then the mask flips off. Which also to follow up to as well, saying, it just hit me that only a couple weeks ago, I was talking about my life over the past few years. How while so my close family now live alone with no family left. As much as I appreciate the support I got, I know that if I were a woman, I would have received 1000% more. Now, I want to get into that one because there's definitely some women out there who may not have the social circles or support they get, and it really shouldn't be too much of a competition at the end of the day. I'm trying to go and highlight over here that what we're going to get into, people are not happy with these big VTubers, this petty high school drama cult. It shows that when men show weakness, we're mostly shamed or ignored. But when a woman does it, it's seen as a good thing. This is why I don't fully open up, because in my mind, I think, who will really care? And it's sad and heartbreaking to go and actually admit. A woman can stub her toe and her fans will act like she went through hell and back. Guys are mostly ignored and shamed. Now, this is a little bit of an extremist take out there, but there is some truth to it, which is why I'm sharing it, because people feel this way. Someone literally quite typed this with a lot of favorites and a lot of attention on it. I think this is why men are shutting down and losing hope. But then you have the likes of Shy Lily and Bao, who can lie point blank on stream to gaslight their fans into going to war on their behalf, and they eat it up like the cucks they are. Now, that's a little bit more of where the tea is coming out. So I'm going to go and say this once again, after the whole Bao situation of her quite literally mocking and making comments and saying a lot of men do not matter, which I was very heavily involved with. I showed at the start of the video. I received so much hate, to the point where I didn't want to become known as the guy who's like, wow, Bao bullied me, like my life sucks, please pity, subscribe to me. Because that's just not who I'd ever want to be. I try to take it in stride, kept on making content, and so far I'm very happy with all the brand new subscribers and the growth we've had in this channel, because I just feel like it's something special. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me, even throughout this video. Like I said, we're never here to be a hater, or we want this person canceled. But there has been a lot of more callback and pushback towards someone who has had their own personal community insult me and harass me, try to go and dox me, wish death upon me. And it was a very sad thing, because the actual content creator, who should know better, because I know this is a smaller content creator, your words have a very, very meaningful call. There were so many different people, if hundreds, if not thousands of people, probably more in all honesty, calling her out and saying that what you're doing is wrong. It's inappropriate. And not in the fact of saying like shaming her, because so many people, myself included, try to just go and share the light, give the experience. But never once did she ever properly apologize. And once again, there was a minor that was being vocalized towards her to let her know this is ongoing, where she could have maybe guided stuff and held stuff on out, and she never did. So once again, people are just not really enjoying this. People are not really being happy seeing the fact that some of these content creators see them as a pay pig, see them as lesser than them, seeing them as just a horrible person. And that is why it seems like there's a massive fall off in interest in these bigger content creators. Now, they're still going to do fine, have, thousands of viewers, do make millions of dollars. That's just the reality of being online, and that's fine. Like, if they've earned it and they deserve it and there's an audience for it, I believe they deserve it. But many people are starting to be more vocalized on this and saying how much disappointment they have with his people. I'm completely blackpilled on most VTubers at this point. So many of them are backstabbing snakes. I will celebrate the day they eventually meet their downfall. Like, even a smaller account here on X, I get hate from the communities of very big VTubers. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing people live over here making these comments on this, and it makes it very, very sad. I'm going to go through over here on Celestium too as well, but I do want to preemptively face their comments saying that they don't hate Bao. They've watched her content for a very long time, listened to her like she's a fan, and she's more so praying that she can change and heal from what's happening in her life. They enjoy their music, everything out there. Like, they're good people. Like, this person's always been very nice and very sweet, but they're basically going and once again calling out, saying sounds like Bao. She absolutely doesn't like her audience, but they pay the bill still. Either way, it is a disappointing when women only care 1, maybe 2 months out of the year about men, or not at all. Men's mental health weeks or something like that, or when there's a big drama that comes out where it's meant to be performative and, oh my God, men's lives matter, men's emotions matter. But once again, the VTubing sphere, a very large majority of the viewers are men. It's disgusting if you go and just feel like an absolute pay pig, or you feel like you're just there to go and pad up stats. Now, I don't typically watch too many VTubers outside my actual circle of friends, because they're people I've known for many years, and I love them. Like, they're awesome. Like, they're my dear friends. Like, I've met these people in real life. I've gone to parties. Like, I've just chill with them. Like, you go on a Discord call and watch some shows and play some games off stream. It's something that's very special. Like, I love my friends. And that's who I watch. Like, I'll watch new people on occasion, and I've been seeing cool stuff, but it's a sad thing to see. So either way, they're saying it's just disappointing because they doesn't seem like they care overall. They're expendable to many women until the barbarians are at the gate. I try not to scream about it through the rooftops. My brothers in Christ and even some male VTubers I've met are chill. It generally sucks when men are treated terribly. I'm going to marry an amazing man soon. I can't see my life without him. We've had our rough patches, but he's shown me a lot of love, and I want to take care of him for the rest of my life. Now, I've had a chance to interact with Celestium a few times. Great woman, phenomenal person, good vibes. Like, hopefully I'd be somewhat roped up there of like, hey, I've had a good interaction with scrubbing, whatever. But as you guys can go and see, and please don't bring any hate towards these people for having their comments or their own opinions on it, because once again, like, you can still be critical of someone and still enjoy them or not be a hater, which I'm trying to be here in this video. It sucks. Like, people are noticing that a lot of these content creators are taking their audience for advantage. And I think that's the thing that hurts the most, because people realize it. Like, yeah, some VTubers might have some slightly parasocial viewership involved. That's everything on streaming. I've been here forever. I've had my own viewers like that. But when it comes to the whole world, when it comes to Twitch people, etc., if you feel used and you feel like you're just a commodity and you don't feel like you're actually getting the respect you deserve, it does reflect really poorly. And I do think, once again, with the whole Sinder situation, with this huge blowout that happened with Bao, which I was, as I showed you guys, quite heavily involved with, and I was just disappointed. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed that the fact that this situation was so poorly handled on her behalf, with so many clips and so many comments and so many easy ways out where even I was throwing her the bone, and even still, it still seems like she does not respect the audience that she cultivated. She doesn't respect the fact, besides the fact that she gets to live the life she does, and to me, that kind of hurts. And I do believe there's a mirroring image over here where people are saying, like, I'm kind of getting over this. I'm kind of getting sad with this. It's not something I want to go and support. And with VTubers having a very large audience of male viewers, if they don't feel respected, if they feel like they're just there to be paid pigs, parasocially hoping for the best, or whatever it might be, when people go and see the true intentions or the true comments between the lines, it does make content creators look very bad. And the one last kind of big thing here too, is we've seen people out here make comments about, like, say, even from Mujin. I want to throw in Mujin over here, I'll throw him at the bus, but people are even publicizing the fact that, like, hey, you're not really making videos, and not many people are bringing up this fact against Bao hitting men. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. If I had to guess, because I had to deal with it for a situation that I truly still stand by, that I got hate for no reason for it. Not that, once again, not trying to be a pity party, it's whatever, it's fine, but to prove the point, people who call out these big content creators, like a Shy Lily or Bao, or whoever it might be, usually have to deal with the onslaught of their fans. And their fans are really mean. When Bao went and said that she was taking her break, and one of my posts, I think, had like a few million views up on Twitter, people flocked to me to insult me because they felt like I was the reason why Bao was taking a break, why she felt bad, without knowing the full-on context, or as well the whole, I guess, entourage of multiple days of harassment and other various things that people had to deal with. Now, as I mentioned, this isn't like a cancel Bao type video, but I think you guys can maybe see my perspective and many others, where people are finally starting to see through the darkness of these bigger Western VTubers and go and realize the fact that they're not really that perfect. Or as well, they've slipped up enough, or maybe they hit their comfort spot of their ego or their money, their bank account's big enough where they feel like they can finally go mask off, or in the most ideal situation, as Bao has said, you know, maybe just too much is going on. Maybe she had too much pain in her heart and she really needed to take that step back away from the internet. And when she properly comes back, she'll have a good time. Like, she'll have a better mental, she'll respect her audience and viewers more and other content creators, and maybe everything will be better. And that's what I truly hope for. Like, I don't want her to lose followers. I don't want her to have her life ruined. I don't want her to even have to feel bad at the end of the day. But I would like someone to heal and also take accountability for their actions, and it does seem like this is becoming more widespread over time, that creators are getting sick and tired of these people using people as pay pigs and just using them as an option, seeing them as an opportunity to grow or an opportunity to make more money. And it's really hard for people to ignore that when Bao herself said, hey, men are suffering, who cares? Give me those impressions up on Twitter and make some more money anyway. Once again, a paraphrase, but not by much. So there was a little bit more of a stranger video. I hope you guys don't mind a little bit. This was on my own heart for a little bit. I don't want to hopefully seem like I'm salty or mad or whatever. I truly hope that Bao, as she's on her break, does have that mental relaxation that she has. You know, you go and relax, have fun, spend some time with your friends, and come back and truly appreciate the community you have, and I would have absolutely zero issues with you, and I'd wish you a happy life. But ever since I saw everything with my own eyes in front of me, it definitely made me look, especially on the bigger content creators such as Bao and Shy Lily, at a completely different light. And so far, I don't think they've had a chance to impress me ever since then. So hopefully, in the future, they will have happier lives, happier people, and if you enjoy their content, please keep on doing so. I don't want you to ever step away or take my own thoughts, you know, as the gospel. I'm not anyone that special, and if anything, if you enjoy your comfy space, your community, your content creator, please keep on doing so. There's nothing wrong with that. But at least for me, it does kind of show that a lot of people are kind of starting to wise up a little bit, at least in their own thoughts, and realize maybe this is not the content creator for me. There's a lot of great, lovely VTubers out there, even on smaller viewer counts, and I can definitely guarantee you some of them probably will appreciate your support a lot more than some people who have already made it as big as they have. As I mentioned, hopefully I spoke this video well. I'm not trying to cause any beef or move on, but it was on my thoughts, and I kind of felt like it'd be a good closure for me to discuss. And, well, just, I don't know, maybe you can take my next step. Maybe I can close my own chapter 2 as well. Because if everyone else, like Shy Lily, gets to go and have everyone say they can still have feelings too, and they have their own thoughts as well, hopefully I can do that too. Because, well, I did have someone to tell me to go and myself due to bow. And now it's still kind of weird to say. That sucked. That was not a fun week for me, but it's been a fun few months since then. So thank you for all the subscribers. Thank you for listening to my thoughts. If you guys made it throughout this video, I know it's a little bit of a yapper out here. All love to Bow. Actually, not really. I don't know you. I hope you just do well. I don't love you. Sorry, like, not parasocial. But I hope you do well. Hopefully your break was fun, and hopefully you can just appreciate people around you a little bit more. Appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Twitter and Twitch down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. If not, no worries. Thank you guys all. I'll talk to you guys all soon.